So we're in Fresno, California. We just finished installing a new valve for the pool filler. It's a manual valve, no autofill. So it's like an old sprinkler anti-siphon valve is what you've got here, and so that meets the requirements for a valve and then an anti-siphon, so it doesn't pull water back into the potable water supply from the pool. And that's fine. It wasn't shutting off all the way, so what we're having trouble with is they'd shut it down, but water would continue to flow and overfill the pool. You can see it's pretty high right now. I'd imagine, it's pretty hot today. It's going to be 90. It's getting hotter here in Fresno, so some of that's going to evaporate and go back down, which is good. But it was, if it continues to bleed through, it just overfills the pool, and then it comes over the sides and whatnot. Anyway, so we just abandoned that, took it out. Nothing we can do for this. That's an old valve, so we don't work on those guys. Additionally, in line down here on the PVC, they had a hose bib installed, and honestly, I don't like to see this. And it happens everywhere, so it's not like this is unusual, but Schedule 40 PVC pipe, number one, don't like it, especially for pool construction, but it's all you'll see for pool equipment and whatnot, for pool heating, pool filtering, all of it. I like to use Schedule 80 pipe. It's just durable, so you can see, this pipe here, the thickness of it, not the outside diameter, but the thickness of the pipe, as opposed to, let's see if I can show you a piece of this Schedule 40. So quite a bit thinner, and this stuff here is bulletproof, so you can put that in a pipe machine, cut it, thread it, and everything. This pipe will crack if you try and do that. So what we did is we tied back things together in a way that made sense to us. What they had originally was on this iron pipe line coming out of the wall, they had a threaded T bullhead. I don't like to thread female threads on PVC onto male threads of any rigid pipe, because you run the risk of splitting just from pressure of tightening it down. Now, there was no leaking here, but we took it out and we didn't like to see this. So what they had was, that guy was sitting like that, and then this came over, that was sitting there. This guy came over and up and back down, and then they had this PVC-T again threaded here for the hose bib, and then tied back in. And so all that's gone. What we did is we put it together the way we wanted to, and the way that makes sense. Normally when you have a protrusion from the home, it comes straight out, you got your bib. So we put a new bib on there. This guy, multi-turn, rubber gasket, packing nut. It will leak at some point, and it's just old, so no big deal. Got you a new, it's 12 bucks, that's, if you're, hopefully you're not offended that we put a new hose bib on there. This works great. It's quarter turn on, quarter turn off. It's got a stainless steel ball in there, so off and on, and there's no packing nut, there's no rubber gasket, nothing. It's just a stainless steel ball up in there, and so that's on and off now. So you hook your hose up and you're good. All rigid construction, no PVC down here. So galvanized pipe in the home, galvanized T, hose bib, another galvanized nipple, another galvanized T, because we need to tie back this line. It's a pressure line, which I believe goes over to the pool equipment. You can see just to the left of this first pipe, there's a little 3/4 line, and that is just the cold water feed to keep water going through here. It's a closed system, so the water should stay in there and circulate from the pool to the pool equipment, and this is just like a makeup water line is what it is. So there's your water coming in, and I don't know much about pool equipment. You can tell I'm a plumber. So whatever this does, that's what I believe it is. It's because it's the only thing I can see over here. There's nothing down the side of the building, as far as piping goes, that would indicate that it goes somewhere else. So a 3/4 PVC line there, and then this 3/4. So it's tied in rigid. No shutoff valve. There wasn't one in there before. So no valve. This was just piped, here, hose bib, and then 90 down and done. So no shutoff valve. That's to work over there. If you ever wanted to do something over there, I would put a valve over there on that riser. Cut it, put a PVC valve on. That's a flexible supply line that goes up and back down to the pump. So you could glue a PVC shutoff valve on there real easily, and then hook that back up, and you're good to go over there. But this was hard piped in, so not going to put another valve on, and I'll stop talking about that. So up off there we got a Watts quarter turn. This is a full port ball valve, so solid brass. So far iron pipe stub out, T nipple, valve, and so this is all rigid. This is nice because, again, quarter turn stainless steel ball, on, off, whatever you want to put it there, it doesn't matter. But all I know is stainless steel ball in there, hard shut off, every single time, so that's off. And then we just made a transition here to Schedule 80 pipe. So it's a threaded nipples. We get these straight out of Ferguson. Other manufacturer or other supply houses have them. We just go to Ferguson and shop. You can see, so it's threaded typically on one side or both sides, and then you cut it and glue the other side. So threaded into the ball valve, and then of course the Schedule 8090, and then over here Schedule 8090, back down into a spring check valve. So this is built in all one piece. This is an actual anti-siphon valve for sprinklers. And I've seen them used on pools. They were designed for sprinklers so that you don't get water flowing backwards. You don't want to get water from the pool over to here. And so that's what this does. Spring check, you can see the little arrow indicator, it's pointing down. Hopefully you can see that, maybe not because it's not focusing real good right now, not a lot of light. But the water can only go that way, period. There's a I believe it's 150 PSI, 60 PSI, probably 60 PSI. Anyways, there's a spring in there. So when the water pressure is on, the spring opens and allows water to flow through. When you turn the water off, it closes. No water can go back up. So there's your check valve, your shutoff valve. Everything's tied back in. Gotta let this dry for a while. We're gonna give it about an hour. This has been drying a little while, but we don't want to turn the water back onto the home until we're confident that it's dry. Otherwise you get a leak and you gotta tear everything back apart. We don't want to do that. So, and this will be dry for a while. We're not gonna turn it on. Reason being is we don't have to. You know, you only use that when you're filling the pool. So but we're gonna let it dry just as well. So this guy's gonna dry. We'll give it another 45 minutes. Or 45 minutes on this here, maybe another hour, and then that should be plenty dry. We got that put together about a half an hour ago. So anyways, long video, lots of words. That's your installation. Don't bump this stuff. You know, like I say, PVC Schedule 40 coming through concrete. Anything gets shattered over here, you hit it with something, bump it, drop something on it, and it splits. You're down to nothing. They got a coupling right here at the bottom. You can barely get tied in right there. You have some luck, but you need to chisel a little bit of concrete out. So if you needed to repair, you'd have to come and chisel concrete out, glue a coupling on there, and then repipe this stuff. Like I say, my piping, Schedule 80, ain't going nowhere. You know, go ahead and do what you want. But that Schedule 40, very brittle, very old. And so I'll leave that up to you. But anyways, we've done what we said we would do. Outside of that, this installation is done.